The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
So before we get to the Knicks and their Game 6 tonight, the Mets, you heard Heyman and Mendoza. I'm going to fire at Benigno, the WFAN legend, on every Saturday, now on with us weekly. Joe, I started this show today after I got through Mamdani and King Charles and President Trump and the Strait of Hormuz and all those news stories. I binge-watched the Hulk Hogan special on Netflix. I've never been a big wrestling guy, but I did cover it for years down in Florida, CBS Sportsline. I've interviewed all of them, all the big ones, and I did love Hulk. And I found myself crying and really emotional during this Netflix piece. It's an amazing, amazing watch. I recommend it. You, Joe Benigno, you ever like professional wrestling?
Never a big wrestling guy, bro, to be very honest with you, I mean, I remember as a little kid, watching like Bruno Sammartino, going back 100 years ago, Bobo Brazil. I heard you mention that. But I was never I was never really into. I have to tell
Never got into it even when President Trump had WrestleMania 4 or 5, whatever it was, in Atlantic City, or Mike Tyson was out there doing the Generation X, or Pete Rose. He was out there.
Lawrence, who, by the way, right now is, I guess he's in the hospital. I hope he's doing okay. He was into wrestling stuff too, Lawrence.
Yes, LT. He's in the hospital for about 2 weeks in New Jersey. He's got a stomach issue. Arthur Aidala told me it's not life-threatening, and he's going to be okay. But he's been in the hospital for quite some time. He fought Bam Bam Bigelow, if I remember correct. Oh, my God, I know way too much of this stuff. He fought Bam Bam Bigelow.
I mean, for as smart a guy as you are, you do know a little too much about it.
Well, I'll say this. You'll appreciate this, Joseph, because I'm a smart guy, right? I do news. I do politics.
Right.
The person that I know that knows more useless information than anybody else. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Iron Eagle.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right?
I could see it. One of the great. By the way, let me just say this: Iron Eagle, who you can make a case, is the premier announcer in sports today in this country. You could make that statement.
Well, he does NFL football for CBS, college basketball for CBS, the Nets,
NBA. The NBA now on Prime and all of that. No, he's tremendous.
He was doing U.S. Open tennis. He's a voice on the video games for years. So he is, and his kid, who also went to Syracuse. Noah's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's a great guy. I love Ian. But I love you the most, Joe. So let's get right to it. Before we get to the Knicks, you heard Heyman and Mendoza. Heyman goes, isn't it possible you guys just aren't very, very good? Now, look. It's not Mendoza's fault. David Stearns put together a team of misfits. They're not good. But here's how it works. And you know this, too. You're a great radio guy. I'm the best radio host in the country. I'm saying that. May not be true, okay? Mm-hmm. But if my ratings aren't good, it doesn't matter how good I am. I'm going to get fired. So it doesn't matter whether you like Carlos Mendoza, you don't think it's his fault. At some point, the Mets have to make a statement, even if it is David Stearns' fault, and do something, Steve Cohen, to make the fans feel like you actually care. So when you lose 16 of 19 games, whether it's Mendoza's fault or not, doesn't matter. They've now had a year and a half, basically a year. Had a good start last year. They've had a year of really bad baseball. Eventually, someone has to pay the price.
Well, the guy who should be paying the price is the genius who put the team together, Stearns.
You don't fire the GM before the manager, ever.
Well, I mean, first of all, he should have never been the GM. If Steve Cohen would listen to me, he would have never been the GM in the first place. I told you about this guy from day one. And nobody else said anything. I told you about this guy. He was way over his head. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. What he does in Milwaukee means nothing to me. And he never won anything there, by the way, in New York. But you're right. Look, Rob Thompson just got fired. Alex Cora just got fired. I think that honestly, in a weird way, Sid, I think the fact that those two guys, getting fired in Boston and Philadelphia is kind of saving Mendoza a little bit right now. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense, but I will tell you this. I was watching Evan Roberts, your former partner on the band, and
I know he's very happy about what's happening
right now. But he was high on bringing in Alex Cora, and then I'm watching Craig Carton like an hour later. He's got Philadelphia history. He was high on bringing in Rob Thompson. Would you like to see the Mets fire Mendoza and bring in one of those two guys? What's funny is they both got fired, Cora in Boston and Thompson in Philadelphia, because their teams are playing awful baseball. Why would you want that guy?
I don't want either of them. I honestly, I'm going to tell you the guy I want, okay? If Mendoza gets fired, to me, the guy I want is Carlos Beltran. And the reason I say that, Sid, first of all, he's a Met. They're going to retire his number this year. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He got screwed. Remember, the Mets made him the manager. How many years ago that was now? And he got hosed because of the whole ridiculous Houston cheating scandal. Everybody else, survived that, it seems, except for Beltran. That's the guy. He should have been the Met manager all along. So that's the guy I want to see as Met man. I don't want Rob Thompson. I don't want Alex Cora. I want Beltran. That's the guy I want. That
is a great answer. You're right. I mean, he got screwed. He hasn't been able to manage since. He was a manager for like 2 months, and they blew him out of there. But now you answer the question that John Heyman asked the manager. Are the Mets just a bad baseball team?
They stink, bro. They stink. The year's over now. They didn't even get to freaking May, and they're out of it. They're done. They got beat 14-2. Now these guys are, the genius brought Polanco in here. He's on the IL. Now I'm seeing where Louis Robert may be going on the IL. I mean, it's unbelievable. They re-signed Sean Manaea. He can't get me or you out. David Peterson stinks. Senga's done. I mean, they should have traded Senga in the offseason when there was teams that actually were interested in him. Yeah. Soto's is hit a little bit, but Soto, in any big spot, like there was the game Sunday, they had two guys on with one out, right? Soto's up. They didn't pitch to him. They didn't even come close to pitching to him. And then Robert and Vientos both struck out. They stink. And I want to see them, and I've said this before, and I'm a Met fan. It's a little difficult being a Met fan right now, and it has nothing to do with them stinking, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay?
Well, that's what what you're talking about is the reason why I'm now a big-time Yankee fan.
The reason that you are now a Yankee fan. It's very difficult being a Met fan with all that garbage that has nothing to do with baseball going on. But you know what I want, Sid? I want to see them win 60 games, and I want Stearns out. Okay, I don't really care about Mendoza. Like I said, he's going to get fired eventually. It's amazing, like we said, he's still there. But I want Stearns out. Stearns destroyed this team. He got rid of Pete. He got rid of Nimmo. He got rid of McNeil. I know Diaz is hurt. He got rid of Diaz. It's a joke.
Well, by the way, Steve Cohen. Listen, before you get to Steve Cohen,
they're courtside during the Knicks games.
I know.
It makes me crazy.
And they lose. And they lose every time he goes. They lose. But just
they won the other night.
I know, but just so you know, Pete is really he may be on his way out of baseball. Alonso.
No.
It's been he the other day said, I don't even know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. You know what, though? But just because he's struggling right now in Baltimore, by the way, they play the Yankees this weekend. Just because he's struggling in Baltimore doesn't mean that would be happening here.
Right.
You know that's it.
No, of course.
I mean, right or wrong, I don't think he ever wanted to leave the Mets, but he left because they didn't even try to re-sign him.
No, I agree. No, you're doing.
This is the guy who has more home runs than any Met in history. And David Stearns couldn't wait to let the guy walk out the door. Please, the reason.
But I'm glad
we've gone through this. We've gone through it.
But I'm glad you said David Stearns because the truth is Stearns wanted to get rid of Alonso last year, and it was Steve Cohen. Cohen kept him here for one more year. That wasn't Cohen's fault. But I'm with you on Stearns. He stunk in Milwaukee. He stinks here. I have no idea why Cohen and others think he's some type of genius.
Right.
It's great to be a genius when you never win. I don't get that. Let me get to the Knicks. Game 6 tonight. They were down 2-1. Both of the games they lost by 1 point. I believe they had the last possession, if not in one, but both of those games. Either way,
they had the last possession in both of those games.
So either way, they've got a chance to win a Game 6 on the road and move on to take on, in all likelihood, the Celtics, who are also one win away from eliminating the Philadelphia 76ers. What are your thoughts 5 games in, this Knick team, this playoff?
Well, they righted the ship. I mean, let's be honest, bro. The last 2 games, they blew the doors off the Hawks. I mean, the last 2 games, really, Atlanta was really never in the game. In Game 5, I mean, I don't think they ever got closer than 13 or 14 points. I feel very good about them. I think they're going to win tonight. I said this series would be a 6-game series all along. I think they'll win tonight. And the only team, and I really believe this, Sid, the only team that stands in the way of the Knicks getting to the NBA Finals is the Boston Celtics. Cleveland's a fraud team. I know they're up 3-2. Detroit's in trouble with Orlando, which I'm not surprised about. You know, the only team is Boston. And to me, that might as well be the Eastern Conference Final because the winner of that series is going to the finals. So, and I know Boston now, you know, look, they were up 3-1. They lost the other night. Embiid had a big game. Philadelphia won for the second time, actually, in Boston. I guess Game 6 is, I don't know if it's tonight. It might be tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure when it is. But that's it. That's what it comes down to, Sid. The only team that can beat the Knicks in the East is the Boston Celtics. Let the Knicks finish it off tonight. I really don't want to see a Game 7. Even if it gets to that, they're going to win. They're not going to lose this series. They're a far better team than the Hawks. And it comes down to the Celtics series. And I see where Josh Hart is a little banged up. I guess he's questionable whether or not he plays tonight. But either way, I feel good about this game tonight. I think they're ready to take care of business and end it tonight.
I really thought Josh Hart's play in the second quarter. I made that point before the New York Post did. What's the difference? He had a couple of steals. He had a big 3, a couple of easy layups.
And also, you know, Brown made the switch, putting him on McCollum, who was killing the Knicks. And Hart now has been guarding them. And what do you have, 6 points in Game 5?
Yeah, no, he did nothing. According to my dear friend Corey Zelnick, I was right. Steve Cohen was at one Knick game they lost. He was not at the last game where the Knicks did win. So Cohen is 0-1.
Oh, he wasn't there the other night?
No, he was not there. 0-1. And you're right. The Pistons, they won last night to stave off elimination, but they got to win 2 more. They're going to be gone at the hands of Orlando. Cleveland, yes, they won a Game 5. They're up 3-2. A couple of teams staved off elimination last night. The Rockets did 2 out west against the Lakers.
In L.A.
Yeah,
L.A. they
right.
won.
But the Lakers have nobody. I have no idea how they won 3 games. But I think you're right. I think the team to beat is Boston. If the Knicks can beat the Celtics, and they should be the underdog, but if they can beat the Celtics, regardless of who they face in the Eastern Conference Finals, are you penciling in the Knickerbockers to play for the NBA championship?
No question about it.
Wow.
I just said it. I think Boston's the only team in the East that can beat them. Cleveland is give me a break on Cleveland. They're such a fraud team. It's unbelievable. They life in debt to beat the Raptors, who the Knicks have beaten 13 times already in a row. You know, I don't buy Detroit. Even if Detroit comes back to win this series, I felt Detroit was a little ahead of themselves. I know they had the number 1 seed and all, but you know what? It's funny what happens when all of a sudden you go from a team that's coming out of nowhere and now you're the number 1 seed and now you're the hunted team. Well, you know, they're getting a little ahead of themselves. I think the Knicks will handle them. It comes down to the series against Boston, Sid. I really believe it. I think that's it. I think Knicks, Celtics, the winner of that goes to the NBA Finals.
Okay, a week ago today was the NFL Draft. We spoke earlier in the week last week, so I never got your take. I think my Giants did great. I know some Giant fans wanted to get the exciting players, the running back out of Notre Dame, the wide receiver out of Arizona State, but I like what Harbaugh did, built it inside the offensive line, the linebacker play. I thought the Giants had a great draft, and I'm going to tell you this, I thought your New York Jets had a great draft. What about you?
Phenomenal.
Wow.
You know what, bro? For the first time in I don't know how many years, we actually have we have a front office that actually seems to know what the hell they're doing. You know what? They had guys targeted, and they went out and executed it. This kid Bailey, he was their pick all along. He's been their pick since, I don't know, David Bailey, since probably the combines. You know what I love about this guy? This guy, I know he finished his career at Texas Tech. He took the money to go there for his last year. He had a big year. This guy graduated Stanford in 3 years, bro. Stanford, 3 years.
Wow.
So that's a big deal to me. They brought in the 2 guys. They brought in Omar Cooper and the kid Pons from Indiana. They drafted this freak athlete, Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon. Even the quarterback, Cade Klubnik, who they got in the 4th round out of out of Clemson. It seems like they targeted this kid all along. And I know, look, he's not going to be the starter. He's not the quarterback of the future. But, who knows? I mean, he started for 4 years at Clemson and didn't leave. I like that. He started for 4 years at one school and didn't transfer out. I like that, too. So I really think that Darren Muji, and look, I don't love Glenn as a coach, but I think you got to give him credit, too, for the input of what they did in this draft. I love what they did. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
And as far as the Giants are concerned, I agree with you. Arvell Reese kind of fell to them. I think they were going to take Love, bro. I do.
So do I.
The Cardinals took him at 3.
Right. They were worried that he would go at 4 to Tennessee with Cam Ward, but they wanted the running back too. And I'm going to say this to you because the Eagles, they're about to trade A.J. Brown tomorrow. A.J.'s on his way to New England. I know they like the kid Lemon, but he ain't going to be A.J. Brown. It's going to sound crazy because the Eagles have been a perennial Super Bowl contender, but I really believe if Jackson Dart stays healthy, the Giants may end up being the best team in the NFC East.
I'm betting it.
Wow.
I'm betting it.
You are?
I'm betting it. I love the Giants to win the division, bro. The Giants have if you want to win Super Bowls, the Giants have the 2 most important things you need, and that's a head coach and a quarterback. And the Giants have both of those things. I love what they did in the draft. Scadaboo's coming back. He was sitting courtside the other night, by the way, with some hot girl.
Yes.
He was sitting courtside at the Garden the other night. Scadaboo's coming back. Neighbors is coming back. I love what they did. I mean, I love. They got the big offensive lineman out of the U, out of Miami, with the 10th overall pick. Reese. A lot of people thought the Jets should have took him over Bailey. Whatever. I think the Giants did a terrific job. They got that receiver out of Notre Dame in one of the later rounds. I think the Giants are the best team in the NFC East, bro. I'm betting them to win the division.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm scared to do that because I'm a Giant fan. But
don't be scared.
No, I think you're right. Joseph, you're great. You become such a valuable
By the way,
part of the show.
You weren't at the dinner the other night, were you?
The White House State dinner?
Yeah.
I turned it down.
Okay.
No.
I'm talking about the correspondence dinner. You weren't when they tried to kill Don again. Was that you weren't there, were you?
I was not there for that, no. But I'll tell you, I was I played a whole bunch of that Hulk Hogan piece this morning, and you may remember that Hulk spoke at the RNC.
Yes, he did.
That was only 5 days after they tried to kill our guy Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Right.
He had stopped talking about Trump because he felt like it was hurting his career. So he was a big Trump guy, WrestleMania 4 at Trump Plaza, Atlantic City. He stopped talking about Trump. And then when he saw that they tried to kill Trump, all of a sudden he went Trump crazy again. In fact, I'll play this for you. Yeah. This is Hogan live from the RNC saying, "I'm back, President Trump," cut number 7.
What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother.
I have chills. And now, as crazy as that is, again, that was the RNC. Here we are a couple of years later, and they just tried it again.
Yeah, well, and they're going to try it again. And let's be honest about it. God knows, we know of 3 times. God knows how many times, how many threats there are every day. Look, let's be honest about this, Sid. Okay, let's not sugarcoat. The left wants him dead. There's no gray area here. I don't care what they try to say. It makes me crazy. They say all this crap about Don, then people turn around. Well, but I'm against political violence. Give me a break. Give me a break. I'm tired of hearing that crap. It's going to happen again. There's no doubt in my mind. God bless the president. Let's hope that this Secret Service, and who knows with that too, I wonder about them as well, that they protect this guy like he needs to be protected, because I'm saying it, and I will continue to say it, and I think it's pretty obvious. The left wants him dead.
100%. Joseph, amazing job. Really great. Thank you. You're great every week on this show. People love it, including Noam. Thank you so much, Joe. I love you. Thank you.
Love you, bro. God bless America.
God bless America.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr., a Marine Corps veteran and lifelong public servant. After 9/11, McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer, leaving behind his wife Kimberly and their 5 children. Tunnel to Towers honored his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org today.